Welcome to another real-time trade. In this video, I'll discuss several ways to manage the trade to empower you to design a trade management model that suits your unique mental wiring. This is the stuff of the real game. Now let's join the trade in progress. Hey guys, Czar here. Good morning to you. Hope all is well. Trust you're having a good morning so far. We're about 30 seconds or a minute and 30 seconds away from the open here in New York. It is Thursday, November the 30th, last day of November. Tomorrow's December. Can you believe that? Wow, time flies. Watching the three sisters here in advance of the open on New York. Below VWAP here on the NASDAQ and the S&P marginally, and the Dow still remaining above the volume weighted average price. These are standard deviations of 2.5 bands, top and bottom. 1 minute charts here. Let's take a look at the 30-minute three sisters. Those horizontal lines, those blue lines there, are the yesterday's high and low. See that? High and low for yesterday. And you can see that we are inside of that on the NASDAQ, inside of that on the S&P, but above on the Dow. We've broken yesterday's high. We can see that too on the daily charts. Why don't we do that here real quick? Just going to reset this for you so we can see it more clearly. Boom. See that there? Inside here of yesterday's high on the NASDAQ, inside on the S&P, and we have broken the high. So very bullish here on the Dow, as you can see, on a relative basis. Been kind of grinding sideways here on the NASDAQ and on the S&P, but kind of a nice cascading bull run here on the Dow. Be watching for signs of slowing, turnaround, or acceleration. We'll believe what the market is telling us no matter what. I'll be putting you on pause, guys, and editing out dead air, sideways grinding action, non-teaching moments, things of that nature to keep this video nice and tight. The first candle on the 1 minute chart has opened. This is the Dow. Daily up in the top left, 30-minute in the bottom left, and the 1 minute for now on the right-hand side. All right, guys, we're back. Looking for a potential trend continuation trade here on the long side for the Dow. A little tricky price action right now. I've dropped a couple of EMAs on the 30-minute here on purpose. I may leave those longer term. I think it might help some traders with context. I'll think about that. If it's resourceful, I'll keep it for a while. We'll see. This is just playing around with ideas here, guys. This is not an actual order yet. Just thinking. Watching the three sisters really sell off hard on the NASDAQ and the S&P. Let me show this to you real quick. See that there? Dropping hard. 2.5 standard deviations on the NASDAQ. Dow holding up. And this Dow holding up is interesting to me. Here we go. Buy stop order, guys, right there. Buy stop order. Right there. I'm anticipating the weight, and I'm in, guys, and I'm in. I'm anticipating the weight coming off of the NASDAQ and the S&P to allow the Dow to go even higher. All right, the coin has been tossed. And yes, I'm basically ignoring this resistance zone right now, given what I'm seeing here on all three. Take a look at the three sisters again real quick. See this extension down here on the NASDAQ, dropping hard. Extension on the S&P. Dow holding up above VWAP and above the two EMAs. And the two EMAs are in positive moving average configuration. And we're breaking structure here to the upside. That's compelling to me, especially if we can get a basing or a consolidation here in these two. We actually haven't yet. The S&P was threatening to do so, but nothing yet. And so that's problematic. For now, I'm going to be patient on this. very weak on the NAS and the S&P. See that here, still dropping down. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. Tapping another support zone here, pretty key support actually from the end and beginning, well, a crossover of Europe and North America on Tuesday. Today, of course, is Thursday. And then the S&P, again, tapping zones. Grabbing some liquidity here potentially. See if we can consolidate and firm up here. So far, not happening. Back to the Dow where my trade is in play. Selling down. But being patient here. We've straddled both sides of the prior candle now. You can see that there. See that wick above and the wick below. Engulfing on the first 30-minute candle of the New York session. Here now. Never feels good to see a drawdown like that right out of the gates. Really, it feels like this trade doesn't stand a chance given that little blip above and then pull back. But I'm staying with this. And target 1 has been hit, guys. And so the 1 hour all or nothing trader has left the game with full profitability. And the 2R move stop to break even has moved their stop to break even. So they will either get a break even or a 2R and nothing in between. Of course, the 1.5R and 2R all or nothing traders are still going to sit here and wait to see what happens. But the primary target of 1R has been hit. This is a profitable trade no matter what in terms of the model itself. Put you back on pause and we'll see how this thing pans out. And target 2 has been hit, guys, so 1.5R. And so the 1.5R all or nothing trader has left the game with full profitability. I just want to remind you guys that this is a trend continuation trade, right? Nice and clean. You can see this impulse and all the way through Europe. Pull back nice and orderly here, and this strong candle on the open here. And there was a bit of noise here for the first few minutes of the open. This is a 2-minute chart, by the way. And I typically sit out for the first 10 minutes or so, and then breaking above the high here to continue this thing higher. I actually put on 2 EMAs here, my usual EMAs, the 9 and 21, just to show you the consistency of the bullish daily, the bullish 30-minute, and then becoming the bullish micro structure, the 1 minute or the 2 minute in this case. It was 1 minute when we entered, if you remember. I also want to remind you that I chose the Dow for a couple of reasons, a couple of very important reasons. Number one, the Dow was the only daily chart that had already broken yesterday's high. Remember that? Let me take you back here to the three sisters on the 30-minute chart. You will see that the NASDAQ had broken below the low of the prior day. The S&P was in the middle of the range of yesterday. And of course here, back in the European session, right? Not even in the New York session, we had already broken the prior day's high here on the Dow. So the strongest horse by far. You can see that continual cascading bullish momentum higher. Bullish daily, bullish 30-minute, and bullish microstructure as well. But I also chose to take the Dow, if you remember, because it was the only one that had not sold off dramatically into 2.5 standard deviations at the time here on the open, right? First few minutes, and on the S&P. In fact, the Dow remained steadily above VWAP in the face of that very substantial selling. And to me, that was a sign that the moment that the pressure came off of the NASDAQ and the S&P, the lid would come off on the Dow. It was really a strong spring, if you will, waiting to go higher as long as these two would cooperate and stop weighting down the Dow. That's the trade idea, guys, and that's something that we actually see fairly often, actually very often, if you do your inter-market or inter-index analysis during the day, and you will see that that, in fact, happens. I'll put you back on pause, guys, and we'll see if we can finish this thing off at the most extreme target of 2. And we're back, guys. I had to step away for a few minutes to help my wife with some things, but got the alert that my target had been hit at 2R. And so all 4 models were fully profitable on this trade. Actually tapped it to the very point, as you can see there. It was actually a couple of points higher on my own platform, but close enough. Thanks, guys, for being here. I explained the trade earlier, I believe. Yes, I did. And this trade is, what, 2 hours? 9, 10, 11, yeah, 11:40, 9:40 I entered, and so that's a 2-hour trade. These are 2-minute candles, by the way. I moved to the 2-minute chart so that I could divide the number of candles in half. Thanks for being here, guys. Happy Thursday to you. It's 11:40. I'm going to go to the gym, have a little bit of a workout, and hopefully we'll see you again this afternoon. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow for Friday. Have an amazing day. Talk to you soon. Take care.